Hello to my live looping enthusiasts out there. I am Cronkite Satellite. I would like to just quickly take you on a voyage through the confusing world of looping pedals. Like if you're just starting to get into this art form, it's really hard to figure out where to begin. And that's why I made this video. I'm going to try to make it quick. You can do all the research you want on individual pedals on your own. You'll find way more, a wealth of information online, as well as going to your local music gear shop and see what's available or what your budget is. Firstly, I'm not going to talk about like the single pedals, like one pedal that you'd like put on your pedal rig. Just I'm not going to talk about those. I want to talk about ones where you can actually possibly do an entire show, which is a loop pedal. Also, I'm not going to talk about Ableton, like Ableton Live. Like if you want a laptop on stage, I mean, Ableton Live is the way to go. And there's probably other software too, but I'm going to specifically talk about foot pedal looping pedals and tabletop looping pedals. So yeah, here we go. First and foremost, my personal favorite that I think is whatever my opinion matters, I think Boss loop stations, looping pedals are the best. That's just me. Many disagree. I don't really care. I love them. They are reliable. I still have pedals. I still have Boss pedals from when I was in high school, and that was like well over 20 years ago, and they still work today. They're built like tanks. So you got the RC30, which is like two little buttons, start, stop, and two different channels that you can loop on. And I'm going to put a video in the description that shows, if you get it, how you can reset the settings so it actually works a little more like intuitively. And it's down in the thingy-mabobber. Like when it comes to loop pedals, they all think differently. So you're going to have to see what works best with how you think. Okay, so then you got the RC50, which is what I started on. And it's a nice pedal. You got 3 different looping phases or channels or whatever you want to call them. Start and stop, couple effects here and there. It's not as smooth when you make that first loop. It's got a little kind of thing in it. But all you got to do is add another loop on top of it and no one will hear it. But then they came out with the RC300, which I think is fantastic. It's got a bunch of effects. However, I barely use those effects. It was more of like the convenience of moving between my different loops and how I can turn them off and start them much more smoothly than I ever could with the RC50. But part of me thinks that what I wound up paying for with that pedal the most was all the effects that I barely used. And now we move on to the Tabletop Loopers by Boss, which is the RC202, which is what I use over here. You can't really see it. It's Velcroed in this box, but it only has 2 different looping phases, but you can use the undo functions and you can erase super quick and then you can add another loop. I love it. And even though it's a tabletop looper where you're supposed to keep it on the table, you can put it on the ground and use your foot on it. It doesn't matter. But I got one of these like little like extension pedals so I can still control it with my feet. So while I'm playing guitar, I can still go like control with my feet and have things happen over here. So it's convenient. And then there's what I personally think is the #1 best looping pedal that's out there is the Boss RC505, a loop station. I do not own one. I have used one. I absolutely love it. But for me, I like having less options because I'm more creative and less can go wrong. Moving on. Check out the RC505. I mean, like, there's like these online like battles between people that are using it. It's so cool. Just check it out. Moving on. We got the Boomerang. Okay, the Boomerang is a pretty good pedal. Built like a tank. A lot of looping phases. I think there's 4. I'm looking at my my notes over here because I'm super professional. Yeah, there's 4 different loop options. It's got effects. Nice buttons for your feet. I'm a big fan of like good buttons because like pedals that you press down because I'm barefoot. So this has a very unique option where you can use this decay function where you build your loop and everything slowly like as you're playing it slowly fades away and you're constantly building up new layers on top of it. That is very another way that a lot of people do like soundscapes and stuff when looping, and it is actually quite wonderful. I do not do that. I hit the button, grabs my sound, hit the button again, and then it loops my sound, and I'm like, cool, let's keep that going until I hit the stop button. So the Boomerang, that's something to check out, definitely, because it's really good. Okay, then we got the Ditto series by TC Helicon. I never heard of TC Helicon until they sent me a Ditto mic looper in the mail to do a review on. And actually, I found it like a very limited pedal, but I found it very responsive, very reliable, and built very well. And I live in Singapore now, and again, I never heard of TC Helicon until they sent me that product. And like everybody here uses TC Helicon stuff for everything, like vocal effects. If they're looping, they have the loop stuff. So it's very prominent over here in Singapore. And then people stand by them. They stand by that product. And I like those people, so I respect their opinions. So I'm going to tell you about TC Helicon. Moving on. The fourth and final loop pedal that we're going to talk about is the Digitech JamMan. A lot of people swear by this. I have very limited use of this pedal, so I don't know really how it works. I know it's easier to to my understanding, easier to upload from your computer like drum beats or pre-made samples and stuff into it, but I don't do any of that. Like everything I do is like blank slate, make the song, no pre-recorded beats. Like all these pedals, I believe, have like some sort of cheesy little drum beat inside of it, but I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. It just doesn't seem like something for me. But it might be for you. So give it the old college try. And that's all I got. Please hit me up if you have any questions. I love talking about this stuff. So hit me up. And then go to your local music shop, see what they have available, mess around on it. But don't pigeonhole yourself and just buy like one loop, like one pedal that only has like one option. Like you hit it, like bad example. But I got, this is a nice little effect board that I got here, but it has a loop option. So I hit it and I hit it again and it's grabbed my loop, but that's it. And I can add on top of it or I can stop it, but I can't like shut it off and have another loop going at the same time. Don't do that to yourself. Don't paint yourself in a corner. Get something where you can start and stop and keep some loops going while others have stopped. And that's what I would very much suggest. I have found live looping to be very freeing, especially because I travel the world. I would love to be in a band, but I can't bring the band with me. So I find it to be a fantastic art form, and I really hope that you find as much joy in live looping as I have. I'm Cronkite Satellite. I hope you found this video useful. Have a fantastic day.